Of course, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you here today. Unfortunately, it is not under the best of circumstances, but given all that has transpired over the last month or so, we have taken it upon ourselves on the backdrop of failures at the national level to create a forum for the families that were affected by the MV Barema tragedy. And so today we are going to be launching that initiative. Of course, just, 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 just. All right. So we we are going to continue nonetheless. I'm not sure if those persons on the live are still able to hear us because of the power. Oh, it's on still? Okay, fantastic. Look at that. Very efficient. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So as I was saying, we are going to be launching an initiative today, and as you can see here in the background, it is called HERO, Humanitarian Emergency Relief Operation. And of course, this is going to come into play every time there is a national tragedy. Of course, as you can see, we also took the liberty of breaking that down a little bit so that people can get a full understanding of what this project means. And of course, we are also looking to have a number of political parties, non-governmental organizations, civil society groups be part of this initiative because it should be one that focuses on Guyanese and not necessarily politics or religion, or it's all of us coming together to ensure that all of us are in the best possible situation at the end of the day. And so I would like for you to put your hands together and give a round of applause for the leader of the opposition for whom this initiative came from his office. Thank you very much. Today I will be taking you through the program, and of course, to begin everything, we must give praise and thanks. And I do believe that since there is some degree of uncertainty of where people may stand in terms of religion, I would like to give everyone a minute of silence where you are free to pray within your respective spaces to your respective gods before we continue with today's program. So just 1 minute, and feel free to bow your head or whatever it is that you're most comfortable doing to offer a word of prayer. Thank you. If I may have your attention again. So we are going to be going through the program today. And of course, there's so many people to thank. So throughout today's program, I will take the opportunity to intermittently mention some of those people who we are thankful for, as well as to inform you of some of the initiatives that will take place under the HERO program initiative. So at this point, I would like to invite the leader of the opposition to give some opening remarks for today's session. So please, ladies and gentlemen, will help me to welcome the leader of the opposition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Such an honor to having you here so we can meet again face to face so that we can ensure that families of the deceased, families of the missing individuals, and also our survivors, you must get some sort of justice. As a humanitarian, my purpose in life is to represent all the people of this country, to ensure that this administration don't sideline you or take advantage and trample on your rights. So this is the purpose of this Heroes Initiative. I would like to thank our hero lawyers. These are some honorable, distinguished gentlemen that offer their services. They contacted me and offer their services for free for you, the people. You, the ones that are affected. As you all know, since this tragedy happened, this is a tragedy very close to me because I was out there. I witnessed everything that happened firsthand. I met with the families. I met with the survivors. And I know the hardships you are facing. Just last night, I met with a family, one of the families that are missing still out there. Imagine we have a vessel just 40 feet under that ocean, 40 feet. And we are pumping oil, our oil, 6,000 feet and more every day, approximately 920,000 barrels of oil coming out our ocean bed. Every day, 920,000 barrels. Another vessel is here, the 5th FPSO. And yet, no urgency to float the MV Barima. No urgency to float the MV Barima. How much longer we must wait? How much longer we must wait? Every day we are earning 6.3 billion Guyana dollars on oil revenue alone. $6.3 billion. I want you to understand the figures because at the end of the day, it's your money. This money belongs to PPP, WIN, APNU, or no political party. It belongs to the people of this country. So we must ensure that you are handsomely compensated. We must ensure for the survivors, for the families of the deceased, and the families of the missing individuals. And we are calling on the government again to float the boat. Float the boat. This vessel, the weight of the vessel is just about 500 tons. Just about 500 tons. Just 10 miles off of the coast. But this administration, they have no respect for the people of this country. An 87-year-old vessel. An 87-year-old vessel. That vessel should have been in a scrap yard. That shouldn't have been on the ocean. The longest journey, they gave us the oldest vessel. In 2023, I could have recalled Minister Ejil. He was boasting about the MV Malaysia that has left Calcutta. So why not use the new vessels to ply the route? Why not use the new vessels? Now, the 5th FPSO, as I mentioned, it arrived in our waters, a cost of $12.7 billion US dollars. That floating production, storage, and offloading vessel, it can hold 2 million barrels of oil, and every day can produce 250,000 barrels of oil. But the reason why I'm saying is because I want you, the people, to understand the magnitude of money that flow in our economy every day. You must understand. Because I don't want the government to bully you and get Minister Keoma Griffith like what they did in Mario. The Attorney General sent Keoma Griffith to Mario and put the families, right, with the 20 children that died, their families under a banner, and told them, accept this money, $5 million each. That is what they did. So I don't want them to do this to you. So that is my concern, to ensure. Because I know a lot of these families, for example, Mr. Arthur, please stand. He lost his wife and 2 children. This man lost his wife and 2 children, left alone. A 1-month-old baby. Because of gross negligence from this administration. That's okay, sir. Consent. So many persons, sole breadwinners for their families. Families of 8, families of 9. How did the government expect that these people must survive? How can they survive? We're calling this administration to ensure they give them an immediate payment to ensure that you must continue with your life. So many of the family members reached out to me that they don't have anything. They don't know how they're going to make it through to tomorrow. Come on, President Ali. The theme for your budget is putting people first. Is this putting people first? Absolutely no support. No support or given to these families. No support. So that is why I'm here. I will fight with the families to the end. As you all know from day one, if I weren't out there, so many bodies would have just drifted away or just go down back on the ocean. That is the reality. Imagine survivors had to float for 7 hours. 10:30 p.m. this incident happened, and they were rescued at 5 a.m. And from Georgetown, where the Coast Guard vessels are, they won't take more than 50 minutes to reach there. So just imagine, we don't have no systems in place as it relates to search and rescue. No systems in place. So many persons could have been rescued. So many more persons. Now the 5th FPSO that arrived, they named it the Arrow B2. The God woman, the First Lady, they named it the Arrow B2. Arrow means abundance. From the Waro indigenous language, abundance. Is this the abundance? Is this the abundance for survivors and the families? What abundance you're talking about? Abundance for yourself and your friends and families. That is the abundance. So I don't want to take up much more of your time. As you all know, we started a donation drive. Whoever I met, whichever survivors and families, I offer immediate support. I want to continue to support you. I want to thank the legal team. You will get a chance to talk directly with the legal team. And I want you to know that survivors in other instances in this country, they got as much as $18 to $20 million. I just want you to know that. We are hearing that the government is trying to go wrong and trying to feel out the people what they want. No, that won't happen this time. Not when I'm around. Not when I'm around. This won't happen like the Madia Dorms fire, where you force persons to sign a document for $5 million. This won't happen. The amount of money this country is producing, we all should live a better life. So once again, when we finish with our program, we will talk directly with the family members. We have to go up to Port Kaituma and Mabaruma to meet with other families that were affected and survivors. we will inform the people of Port Khartoum and Mabruba when we are traveling there. So thank you.
Thank you very much. As a people, we have got to realize that we are stronger together. And maybe as an individual family, you may not be able to stand up to a body as big as a government, but as a collective, we are able to do so. And we are able to put up a stronger fight and a greater defense against what is happening here within our country. And I know that even though the government has a number of fake pages and people coming around to tell you, oh, you should not be protesting the ministers, you should not be complaining about the government's failures. I want to say today that I have spoken to somebody who said, I don't want to come to a public forum because I don't want to be victimized. And I said, I understand your position in not wanting to be victimized, but we are now dying. And so choosing to stay silent is saying you're okay with death. We have fathers who are no longer here. We have mothers who are no longer here. We have children who are no longer here. How much is too much before we decide as a people that we will not stay silent? Now, over the last couple of weeks, we have seen the reporting from the government side dwindle as it relates to the MV Burima tragedy, as if the families, as if the rest of the country is just supposed to forget and move on. All right, so it's over with, let's keep it pushing. The president had a press conference for an extended period, and he did not mention the MV Burima in that period. In fact, it came up when he was asked about it by one of the media operatives there. And that is unfortunate because we should not allow ourselves to be so inhumane that we cannot have empathy, we cannot have support for the families, for our Guyanese brothers and sisters who are suffering. And if you look around here today, you will see the representation of people. This is what Guyanese look like. This is what all of Guyana looks like when you look around this space out here. So all of us is represented by one of us seated here today. And so I'm saying that to say that we have got to move from a place where we allow people to divide us based on how we look, based on our religion, based on our economic status, and identify with ourselves as Guyanese, who all of us in this struggle together. And so we have to ensure, and I will repeat this as much as I possibly can, that we have a united effort to ensure that the government does not continue to punish, to fail the people of Guyana. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to welcome our dear MP, Natasha St. Louis, to make her presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Today is one of the sad days that I've had to face persons, whether they're survivors or family members of victims, and understand what that means, or what losing someone in such a tragic incident means. Hero is an initiative born out of the heart of a very humble individual. And that individual is our leader, Mr. Guyana Mohhammed. You all heard him talk about him being a humanitarian, and that something like this is effortless and comes naturally from him. Getting out to the sea in a matter of 3 hours of learning all of this, mobilizing a team, getting up and going, is effortless for him because of the kindness of his heart, mobilizing his own resources. We're not in government, but doing that is effortless. And so Heroes Launch today speaks to the depth of his heart, the caring nature of a person who leads. And God knows he is the president that we want. That is the president we want. Somebody who's caring, whose actions comes naturally from their heart. I can guarantee you that this, like the leader said, it's not going to go down easy. If you look at what we have here, humanitarian, and the first word there, dignity. Where is the dignity for all of you sitting here this afternoon? 1 month after, we're learning that we will wait until the COI is finished to understand where your loved ones. And this is personal for me because I have 2 regions. There are many of you here, but I will single out the 2 region, 5 families who's still waiting for a phone call. I remember Mrs. Frank saying she's waiting for the phone to ring because she feels that her son. You want me to tell you that it's been 1 month and there is no psychosocial support from the Heart Initiative. Many of you would learn that the government is talking about the Heart Initiative. She's still waiting for that. One mother said to me in Port Kaituma, she doesn't sleep because when she closes her eyes, she hears the screams of the babies around her. Where is the psychosocial support? Hero is going to provide that in a very structured manner. And while I sat there and I listened to the leader speak, the word that came to my mind, and I look back there to see if it's covered, is emergency. The urgency that we need in finding relief in this incident. The president of Guyana has said to us a few days that we have to wait. We have to go through a procurement process for them to get a couple of $1 million to raise the boat. My leader, Guyana Mohhammed, said that he will float the boat, but they will not give him permission. And you, our Guyanese brothers and sisters, must ask yourself why. Every one of them that is at the bottom of the sea is our brother and our sister and our babies, regardless of what they look like. And you must ask yourself why. Why do we have to wait? And I don't want to make this political because I can tell you of some of the transactions that don't wait overnight to get approval for certain things to buy for certain people. But the boat at the bottom of the sea will have to wait for a procurement process to be completed. That is very unfair. The urgency in floating the boat is something that we all have to call for, even though the president said that we must wait. This initiative, Ms. Primus would have said, is to deal with emergency situations, particularly this one, for our country. We have to prepare for many other emergencies. And when, as a new party, we are now putting systems in place to be able to support our people whenever that happens. And so this is a structured approach to emergency response for our people in this country. I say to those of you who are hurting, there is a God. There is a God. Believe me, there is a God, and hold on to God. Don't give up hope. Relief will come. Your suffering you will endure, but good things will come tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MP. I would like to say that as it relates to the HERO initiative, we are going to be executing a number of projects under this umbrella. For example, all of the children, and I mean all of the children involved, whether they were on the boat, whether they are children of the survivors, whether they are children of the deceased, whether they are children of the missing, will be given a packed bag for September to return to school. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that deserves, yeah, that's the right move. I know many people say, oh, but everybody they receive monies to get these things, but of course, people are no longer in the position and the situation that they were in before. Monies had to be expended for a number of things, and we want to ensure that we do more than say the children are the future. We prepare the children for that future, and we ensure that their life is protected as well going forward, so we don't have to be here mourning the loss of a number of children. It is evident that our government does not care about children in the least, as we would have seen with the Madia dorm situation, and as we would have seen with those grieving families, that sufficient was not done for those children and for their families. At this time around, however, we have a new set of people on board. We have a new set of people who are present and who are committed to ensuring that the right thing is done. So it's not about the failures of the government anymore, but we are going to be filling that gap in terms of failures. I would also like to say that outside of our lawyers, which I will get into talking about in the not so distant future of today's program, we also have a clinical psychologist with us here today. And so we are going to come around to having discussions about them and what those will look like as well. I would like to take this opportunity to also let you know that through our program, we have been giving families care packages. I know that right now, as we speak, care packages are being put together. Another set of care packages to give to families. We have given a number of food hampers and other forms of other hampers as well over the last couple of days. And of course, that comes primarily through donations made from the general public. And I think a great degree of those donations came from WIN groups outside of Guyana in the US, as well as Canada. And of course, some of those people are in no way, shape, or form associated with the party, but just kind-hearted citizens who saw the need to contribute to this cause. At this point, to expound on that a bit, I would like to invite my colleague, Nandrani Singh, to come and, MP Nandrani Singh, forgive me, to come and expound on how the donation drive has been, and of course to give some information in terms of persons who are still willing to make contributions.
Thank you, MP Arasa. and a pleasant afternoon to each and every one of you. Let me take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you for being here this afternoon. We know it is not under any happy circumstances. Families are still grieving. We are grieving with you, but thank you so much for meeting with us this afternoon. Now, I just want to tell you a little about our donation drive and give you a little update on that. Now, on July 22nd, just 4 days after the MV Barima tragedy, our leader, the Honorable Mr. Azruddin Mohammed, he decided that because he saw the government was doing nothing for our people who were suffering because of their negligence, he decided to take up the initiative and, as always, to be a leader, to be the leader that this country needs, because clearly the corrupt, the uncaring, and the dictatorial PPP administration has no intention of being that for our people. So he decided that we needed to help the people, and we came up with a 1-month donation drive that is being led by Ms. Guyana Mohhammed. It is an initiative of the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, the We Invest in Nationhood Party, and the WIN New York chapter. This initiative was created to support families of victims, survivors, and also for those families who are still awaiting news of family members who have not been found to date. So when we talk about such an initiative that Mr. Mohammed came up with, right there we see operation taking assistance directly to those who need it, and that is what our leader came up with, because this is an initiative whereby he is raising financial funds to support the family financially and legally. This is also where we see emergency comes in, responding to the urgent need in times of crisis. Because like I said, only 4 days after this tragedy, and after noting that the PPP administration is doing nothing, our leader decided it is time once again for him to step up and lead. And I want to say to you guys that this is what community togetherness look like. When a leader decides that he needs what is best for his people, and he's going to come to the forefront and get it done, no matter of who likes him or who dislikes him, who is going to talk bad or not, he is going to step up and do what is needed, what is right by the people. Let me take this opportunity before I go any further to send out heartfelt thank you to all our generous donors who have donated thus far. Let me thank our MPs, every one of you who has been out to our donation drive location to lend assistance, to hold our buckets. By now our buckets are viral. Everybody know what those buckets are. Our supporters who have been out there helping, and our counselors, thank you so much for showing up when it was needed. So a little about what we have done so far. To date, we have raised the three agency, the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, the We Invest in Nationhood Party, and the WIN New York chapter has raised over $20 million. So I think that that demands a round of applause, because that is an incredible figure to date. And that 20 million comes from both overseas and local donation. Donation comes through our Zelle account and our GoFundMe account. Let me give that Zelle number for those who want to donate, because our donation is still going on. The number is 347-264-3709. And local donations come through our buckets, like I say, those are viral, and through our MMG account, which is 7154717. Now, just to give you a breakdown, our GoFundMe account so far has brought in $12,822 US, and our Zelle account has brought in almost $5,000 US from all our kind-hearted donors, and that total to almost $17,000 US. Locally, through our MMG and our famous buckets, and I keep talking about our famous buckets because I need everyone to know our buckets are still there, still accepting donation. Locally, we have raised almost $18 million. So to our Guyanese brothers and sisters who have donated thus far, thank you so much for your donation. I just want to let the public know that from the donations we have received, we have been able to, or we have so far helped almost 65 families from the MV Burima tragedy. Now, because the donation drive started as a 1-month donation drive, but because of the overwhelming success we have had and because of the number of persons who are still donating, we have decided to extend our donation drive for 2 additional weeks. That will take us into September 5th, I believe. So we will now be having what would total a 6 weeks donation drive. After that 6 week, there will be full public accountability of every single dollar we have received. I just want to let you guys know a little about how, that donation drive has been going and how kind-hearted, and I keep saying how kind-hearted Guyanese are. I want to tell you, when we started on the 22nd, about 2 hours or 3 hours into our donation drive, we raised almost 500,000 Guyana dollars, and that was through our buckets and MMG. And that goes to show how kind-hearted Guyanese people are, how much we come together in time of tragedy. And I keep saying thank you to everyone throughout this, that this accountability or this little speech that I'm giving here, because I want everyone to know how thankful we are for these donations. I want to tell you a little about the people who have donated so far, just to show you how much this tragedy has affected people and how they have come forward to help. We have had one lady and her son. She was not dressed fancy. She did not come to us in any fancy vehicle. And I saw her come up to our donation location, which is at the Mohhammed Enterprise building. She and her son walked and came up to us. And like I said, she was not fancy dressed, or she didn't pull up in a fancy car. And she donated over $300,000 to us right at that tent. Now, because I don't want to say because of how she looked, but that is it. Like I said, she wasn't fancy dressed or anything. We asked her, why would you donate this amount of money to us when you look like you yourself is in need? And let me tell you, the over 300,000 was not $5,000 bills or $1,000 bills. They were all change monies. And you know what she said to us? That this is what she has been saving for when tragedy meets her brothers and sisters. And she believed this is one of those times when she needs to donate all she has saved thus far. And she gave that money for our people, for the victims of the MV Burima tragedy. And that is what the corrupt PPP government should have came out and done, so that the people in our country don't have to take out their savings and give it to these families. They should have took up that mantle. But this lady decided that her life saving was what was worth donating to these families. And I just told you that story so you can understand how much this tragedy has affected people and how everyone wants to help in some way or the other. We We have another family, another lady actually from Berbice. I believe MP Natasha would know her. She went around to all her family members and she collected donations. They were not much, but we were thankful. There were about 15 envelopes. And as you open them, one would have 1,000, one would have 2,000. And you know, people donated what they could, and we were very thankful for those donations. We have also received donations from businesses, large and small. We have received canter loads of diapers and wipes for families. We have received cleaning supplies from small businesses. We have received canter loads of clothing, and we are very thankful for that. All of those donations received will be going to the families of the MV Burima tragedy. Now, just to remind everyone, our donation drive location is at the Mohhammed Enterprise Building, 29 Lombard Street, just near the Stabrook Market. Our team is there Mondays through Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you have any sizable donation and you live in Region 4, you can call us on telephone number 730-4051 if you're unable to bring that donation to us, and we will come and pick it up from you. We are accepting, of course, financial donation. No donation is too big or small. We are accepting non-perishable items, dry goods, towels, linens, new clothing, toys, blankets, anything that you can donate that will help these families. I just want to take this opportunity as I'm up here to reiterate our call and the call of our leader, Mr. Azruddin Mohammed, for the resignations of the subject ministers who are responsible, politically responsible for the loss of over 100 Guyanese lives when the MV Burima tragedy occurs. The Guyanese people do not have confidence in those ministers anymore, and we are asking that they resign immediately and stop collecting taxpayers' dollars. Those money could have gone to the families in need of those dollars. So we're reiterating our call for Minister Juan Ejil and Yurat in our resignation, because they are politically responsible. I believe the Maka agrees with me. Once again, let me thank and say heartfelt thank you to everyone who has donated. Big or small, your contribution means a lot to us. And again, on behalf of the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, the We Invest in Nationhood Party, and the WIN New York chapter, thank you to everyone who has donated. Please continue to donate. Our buckets are still out there. Our MMG account and our Zelle account and our GoFundMe accounts are still active. So please continue to donate. Your donation goes a far way for these families. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Nandrani. I would like to give some more information in terms of persons present here. At least at the beginning, when we were able to check, I can tell you that we have the 6 families of persons who are still missing, 16 families of bodies that were recovered, and 8 families of persons who survived, present here with us today. Additionally, we have the families of the crew members who were subsequently arrested after they survived the tragedy. And of course, that in itself is another tragedy, because who should have been sitting in prison is the ministers for whom the responsibility of ensuring the safety of the people, which would be Minister Indar and Ejel. So, of course, we would like to lend support to those families as well, and to acknowledge their presence here with us. In addition to the failures that led to the failure, on the government's part. Even after the tragedy, they continue to fail the people. As we would have seen, I'm sure if not all of us, many of us would have seen the way families were treated, would have seen the way families were spoken to, would have seen the way even the deceased could not even get the respect. You know, as Guyanese, we always talk about respect for the dead. Not even that was granted in the way some of the funerals were conducted for those family members. And of course, that is wholly unfortunate and quite a disgrace on the part of the government. At the end of the day, we are all Guyanese. And whether or not we support the government should be for all of us and should treat all of us with the same respect. In the same way they would have had it been a family member or somebody who is close to them. That is the kind of respect that we would like to have for us. You cannot run on one Guyana and treat us as though there are 2 and 3 and 4 Guyanas by the way you decide we should be treated. And again, I would like to say that all of us, we have to make an active effort to ensure that the MV Barima tragedy stays alive until what you are asking for the boat to float, for answers to be had, until all those things happen, until people are adequately compensated, we have to keep our feet on the necks of the government. As a collective, I just want to ensure that people are hearing me. As a collective, we have to ensure that we hold the government accountable. You with me? Are you with me? Our families who survived the tragedy deserve better. Our families who have not been found deserve better. Our families whose lives have been lost deserve better. You may not have known an individual, for those persons who might be looking on social media or any other platform, whether it's right now or later on. You may not have known somebody there. But at the end of the day, everybody there came from somebody. They came from a family. They came from a grouping where they were loved, where they were cherished, where what they did and what they said meant the world to the people who are sitting here today. And so we cannot operate as though that meant nothing. Those were people who contributed to this country, and their contributions to us should not go down in vain. There are people here who would not be who they are had it not been for the significant contributions of people who are not seated here today because of this tragedy. A very good example is the young lady to the back, who I met as a result of this tragedy, Jasmine, who does not spare a minute to express who her father was to her and how he has contributed to who she is. Nor does her mother spare a minute to let us know how proud her father would have been had he had an opportunity to walk his daughter down the aisle. And I say that, and it comes from a place that it is so difficult to say that somebody who has done so much, unfortunately, will not be here to be part of some of the biggest moments. We have fathers who will not see their daughters or their sons take the first step. And that cannot be something that we allow to go on, that we allow to operate, for the government to operate as though it meant nothing. Perhaps the people meant nothing to the government, but to the people seated here, whether it is in the audience or at any of these tables, those people meant the world to them. And we must ensure that we operate and treat with this situation as though the life, whether lost, whether recovered, whether not recovered, or whether it is the survivors, we have got to operate as though these are people who mean the world to us, who meant the world to us. At this point, I would like to invite another MP, MP Don Hastings, who is going to be speaking today as a representative for Guyanese, specifically for the very many Amerindian families who have suffered as a result of this tragedy. And this is perhaps the second biggest tragedy by number of persons lost that are Guyanese, because of course very many people mentioned Jonestown, but there were not very many Guyanese there. But during our time, we have this tragedy and we have the Madia tragedy. And in both cases, there was a large number of Amerindian brothers and sisters affected. And, you know, sometimes you do not want to say things, but you are forced to say it. And it leaves one to wonder if the government does not have any value or respect for our Amerindian brothers and sisters. And the answer for me is no, based on the actions that they have chosen to take. And the thing is, what do we do? Do we sit down and allow our Amerindian brothers and sisters to be treated as though they have no value? Or do we stand up? Because today it might be the Amerindian brothers and sisters, tomorrow it might be the Afro brothers and sisters, the next day it might be the East Indians and the Portuguese and so on, and that goes on forever. And my thing is, we have all been disrespected and treated badly at one point. And so I think we're at a point where we should all stand up and demand that all of us be respected as Guyanese people. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome Miss Dawn Hastings Williams.
Thank you, Sessional Chair, Leader of the Opposition, my members of Parliament, colleagues, survivors, families of those who perished, our distinguished guests. I stand here as a politician. I took an oath to be a politician. And so I try very hard to differentiate politics from everyday living, but I cannot do that. Because politics has impact on different aspects of our lives, whether it be education, whether it be transportation, whether it be family life, whatever, politics is involved. Because as politicians, we sit and we set policies, we make laws. And the MV Barima, to me, in my own opinion, is a failure of politics. I'm quite sure you'll agree with me. And so even though I try very hard to differentiate politics from our everyday life, I cannot do that. I want to begin by saying, float the boat. Indar and Edgel must go. They have failed us. They have failed the country. And the decent thing for them to do is to resign peacefully. But let us see if they have that to do that. Every day counts. From the 18th of July to now is 1 month and 3 days. And I want to start by saying transparency and accountability are obnoxious to the taste and appetites of those who enable corruption, discrimination, inequality, and injustice. And we know who those persons are, who are enabling these things. They don't like to hear about accountability and transparency because it's not a good taste to them. And so to our survivors and to the families of those who perished, the MV Barima tragedy will remain in our minds and in our hearts forever. It has taken too many of our Guyanese lives. Indigenous lives matter. African or Black lives matter. All lives matter. And you know, in Guyana, our favorite food is cook-up. And we have a lot of cook-up in our human race. My indigenous brothers go and they fall in love with other races and they make beautiful children. And so we have a lot of races. Yes, look at my handsome brother here. Right? And my pretty sister there. But that is how we live in Guyana, and that is how we should live in Guyana. In Hebrew says, let brotherly love continue. And you know, I am very proud of the leader of the opposition this afternoon for this initiative. And I'm sure you too, you're proud of him for this initiative called HERO. Many of the survivors here, whoever is here, we want to recognize you because in some way or the other, you are a hero. And, you know, every day I look at what is happening. I listen to what is coming from the government because I have to listen to them so that I can be, you know, in a better position to rebut whatever they're saying. Even though I don't want to listen, like how I can't differentiate politics from everyday life. Even though I don't want to listen, I don't have the urge to listen, I have to listen to them. And when I listen to what none other than the head of state says, to the survivors and to all of us, that we have to wait on the results of the commission. We are still waiting on the results of the commission to the Madhya tragedy. And there were a lot of recommendations made. How many of them have been implemented? Talk to me. You tell me. And so to say to us that we have to wait, that was an emergency, my people. And in Guyana, we have two types of tendering. You have the open or public tendering, where you can go and tender and to say you want to float Barima. And that will take a longer time because you will now have to sit, look at these bids, and those who are given the responsibility to do that, and then they select the person with the least, which I never agree to. Because you may tender for the lease, which may not be adequate to do the job properly. And that's what's going around in the country. I laugh when I see people from other areas tendering for projects in my region. They have no clue about the cost of an airplane. If they have to take in cement to build a concrete building, landing fee for one sack of cement is $15,000 to $16,000. So if you're going to tender to build a school in my region, you better do your homework first. Go there, fly there. And that's what opening tender should be and should be about. Now the other one is restricted or selective tendering that you do most times in emergency cases when there is a flood. Do you do opening tendering? No common sense, my people. The MV Barima tragedy is an emergency. None other than the leader of the opposition said that he is willing to float the boat. And I'm quite sure there are others. And that should be the time when the government use selective tendering or procurement. So don't tell me that there is no other alternative than open tendering to bring up this boat. I may look stupid. I may look small. I may be very quiet. but I can reason. I have a common sense, like all of you sitting here. I want to speak a little about how the survivors are being treated, the families, and even the dead. Can you imagine our babies, our sisters and brothers, and especially indigenous, and this hurts me very much. This hurts me very deeply. Because I am trying to look at where dignity is in this, where humanity is in this. You are burying Guyanese in plywood boxes in this oil-rich country. You putting our babies in plywood boxes? You burying our babies with excavator? Come on, people. Where is the dignity? Where is the humanity? It gets me annoyed. And then it also saddens me. And so I thank God for being the voice for the voiceless. I encourage my indigenous brothers and sisters wherever I go. It is time to speak up. Speak up doesn't mean you have to be loud. You can also protest in silence. I say to them when they come around, because they're trying to distract the indigenous people, telling them about model communities, model villages. You had 5 years to do that. When we're having this tragedy, you're coming to tell me that you want to talk about model villages? I say to them, when they come, the best way to protest, stay home. What are they coming to tell you? If you don't want to speak up, speak in silence. And you refrain, you stay home. Let them come and do the blah blah. Let them bring their CSOs, because they can't get the people like before. The people eyes are opening. And I thank God. I want to thank God for the survivors. I want to put you into the hands of God to comfort you, to see you through. So even though the government is not reaching out, look to God. He is your source of strength. He is your source of wisdom. May God bless us all. I thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Don. You know, there's a famous song that speaks to the hero being in you. And for all of us, we may have been in the past, and some of us it may be in the future, where we have to activate our inner hero. And during this tragedy, we would have heard of a young man who gave, I think it was something that he was holding, a vinyl or something. Right. She's here? To save that woman's life. And whomever that young man is, I don't think we are aware of who that is or was. Is definitely a hero. If not to all of us, definitely to that young lady. And I want to say today that we have seated among us here a number of people who could be classified as heroes, who will come in to save the day, sometimes even in the most grim of situations. Even in the most darkest of situations, you might think nobody understands, nobody's there for you, you're battling alone. And I'm sure that for many of those people who go home and who has to sleep by themselves alone at night, who have no screaming children running through the house, almost to the point to drive you mad. I have 2 of them, and it feels like 2,000 children in that house. And I'm sure every parent seated here can relate to that, or could have at some point, because your house is a lot livelier when everybody's there. Somebody always in like the music, somebody want to play the music. Somebody always cooking in the wee hours of the morning. As I'm sure people would have had those sorts of people in their homes as well. And now it's silent. And now there's no children to complain about them eating out the milk and the sugar. And those are things that when you're experiencing them, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. But when they're not there, you're very conscious of how big a deal that was. And I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I sent my children to spend a couple of days by their grandmother. And I said to those children, to my children when they're going, it's going to be so nice and quiet in here, you know? Nobody saying mommy 500 times for the day. And when they left, I in the house said, oh my God, I want my children to come back home because it is quite evident that I'm alone. There's nothing to do. I don't have to get up and cook for anybody. And those are things that I can imagine how people who are seated here today, who do not have the people who gave life to your home, who made your house a home, how their absence affects you on a daily basis. Sometimes even in the simplest of things, you might go to wash the wares and say, if my husband was here, I wouldn't have to wash wares. He like wash wares. If my children were here, I wouldn't have to sweep the yard because they're downstairs all day playing and they're going to sweep up and so on. And it is the little things that, even as we remember, especially for those families who their loved ones were not recovered, who are sitting here with the greatest of uncertainty and the strongest of hope, because I understand how the mind works. I have had a friend who a couple of years drowned, and I spent a lengthy period of time saying that maybe he survived and he's living with survival skills in some part of the interior. Maybe he's hoping that somebody passed and they'd find him, and I have been there. And I know how that feels, and I know how difficult it is. Sometimes when there's nothing that gives you any sort of hope and your mind starts to create a parallel reality that comforts you, that makes you feel better. And today I want to say that we have a few gentlemen who I would like to, and we have taken the initiative of referring to those gentlemen as heroes as well. And some of them are seated here today. And these would be the lawyers who came forward. As the leader would have alluded to earlier, they were not called, they made the call. And I will, yes, thank you very much. These gentlemen who came forward, they are big names in absolutely every right. Not a stranger to households across this country. And as I call their names here today, I must say that I'm very proud, not because these men, they're not here today because of win. They are, in most cases, not even win supporters, but they are human beings who care about human beings. I would like for you to put your hands together, as I mentioned, not as yet, but as I mentioned their names, whether they are present here today or not, I would like to go through the names. I know some of them are out of the jurisdiction, and some of them had prior engagements. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can put our hands together for Mr. Nigel Hughes, Mr. UC Anderson, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, and here with us today, Mr. Christopher Ram, and right next to Mr. Ram, we have Mr. De Silva, ladies and gentlemen, and one other lawyer, and that would be Mr. Sian Durjan. Before I continue, I would like to say that we have not closed the door in terms of lawyers. And so we are in talks with others, and I'm sure that there are other lawyers who may be looking on today who would like to step forward to assist in this venture. And we would be more than happy to welcome them on board to support these families, because we need each other. And a special thanks to all of our heroes who have stepped forward in this time of need. If you will put your hands together and welcome to the podium Mr. Christopher Ram as he makes his presentation today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I wish I could say I share your grief. It must be extremely painful. And in that sense, you are the heroes, not only of this afternoon, but of this moment in time in which Guyana seems to be moving from one tragedy to another, one crisis to another. I think all Guyanese grieve with you. We recognize the challenge you face. We recognize that it's over a month that you've had to go through the very few hours that you went through when Ezil first went on social media to announce the loss of the boat, and then there was loss of communication, unbelievably. We have some of the most sophisticated technology just a few miles off from where that tragedy struck, and there was no one around. You wonder, and I can tell you, there really was no one around, and they were running like chickens with their necks cut off. That itself was a tragedy of a different sort, but nothing that is comparable with what you have gone through. I'm not here to make a speech. I'm not a politician, I'm not a speech maker. But in my work, I get involved in businesses. I know that if that tragedy that struck involved a private operator, the government would have been down on their throat at a moment's notice. They would not have been able to operate without adequate insurance coverage that would have run possibly, to use international measures, into billions of dollars. It's not an easy thing trying to put a price on a life. Now, if the government would have treated the private sector that way, why is the government itself not applying the same standard, same rigorous standard of compassion, of financial assistance from every area of joining in the grief? Up to now, we still don't know where some people were at that critical moment. But that's for the politicians to deal with. This Transport and Harbors Department is a government department 100%. No private sector involvement. It is entirely responsible. We have laws on our books that talk about compensation, not charity. Nobody should be begging for money for you. The government owes a duty. This is not time to go raising money piece by piece. You need more than that. You have a right to it, and the government has a duty to pay it. So I want to suggest, But before I do so, we should say the government has tons of money. Just in this year, because of America's and Israel's war on Iran, the price of oil has gone up because of the increasing successes of the oil companies. We are likely to collect as much as 4 times more under the present arrangement than we did before. Not because the oil contract is any better, it's a disaster, but it's because we have the wealth under our seas, under our earth, above our seas, and above our earth. We are a blessed country, and there is no way, absolutely no way in the world that we should be going through, you should be going through the torture that you're going through now. You're punishing every moment of your waking life. So where are the tons of money at the government's disposal? Where is that emergency fund to put you at least in some kind of position of financial comfort? Not where do I catch the next minibus or pay for the next means of transportation. Where is the national relief? Where is the parliamentary committee working a framework for granting compensation? They're not there. You wonder where they are. Where is the activation of the Amerindian Fund? And I speak my mind. The Amerindians have got to start talking as well. We have an Amerindian Fund. Where is it? Have we ever had an audit of the Amerindian Fund? I don't think so. Now, but this is not a time for questions, and certainly it's not a time for a speech from me. When I think of the Madia, that disaster was a disaster twice. The Commission of Inquiry was handpicked because the government knew what decision it wanted, and the commissioners probably did as well, what the government wanted. You know, just people get promotion because of their service to that Commission of Inquiry. That should never, ever be allowed to happen. But there's a difference between Madia and the boat disaster. Madia, it was, in a way, it's easy. You could find, the parents. That was not a difficulty. We are facing an infinitely more complex compensation issue. And so, I think we and the politicians, I'm not talking about just going around and collecting money. I'm talking about demanding money. We should have, at the absolute minimum, an interim relief to every single person and family that was affected by that disaster. You don't have to wait for that. Nobody waits for a commission of inquiry to decide that people must get relief. We need that. So there is interim relief that is an absolute must. The leader of the opposition has courage. He's got to fight for that now. As I said, I'm blunt. Don't ever ask me to speak. You are going to find, like in the Madia, they're going to come and send the people to cajole you into taking a puny sum of money. I'm begging you, my friends, my fellow Guyanese, don't do it. If they give you money, take the bloody money. Sign nothing. Do not give up your right. If a piece of paper is put before you, get someone to read that paper. And if they say, well, we're not giving you, you're not allowed to take that paper, go and talk to the press, go and talk to your politicians. You have to expose the hypocrisy, the inhumanity, the callousness, the remorselessness of our politicians. I would think that what we need today is not going to solve the problem. But what we need is some kind of framework in which, within a few days, there's a clear demand, whether it's led by Win or whoever leads it. Because this is not a political issue. Bread and butter is not politics. Home and homelessness are not politics. Food on the table is not politics. It's humanity, it's reality. So, in my view, and as I said, I'm no politician, in my view, what we need to do is to have a proper framework. Not a big sum of money and then take that, go your way. We have to have something that recognizes individual characteristics. Maybe you can say that we will not distinguish between one life and another. That every life, a minimum maybe $20 million, and work out the numbers, they're not particularly big. But don't, for God's sake, talk about $10 million, and that's it. We are talking about a compensation framework that is based on peculiarities. The person who has so many years to live, what about them? The business person, the employee. What about the person who didn't have a regular job? Are you going to say that person did not have an income? How did they live? And which is why I'm saying, let's not rush. We're already very late. In that sense, we're late. Congratulations to Win for staging this. I think what we need to do, and what Win needs to do, is coming out of this initiative, is maybe, and I'm not looking for work, is get a small group and work out a framework. How do you make a framework that is fair, that is reasonable, that is unarguable, that is irresistible, irrevocable, whatever you want to call it. And you put it to the government and say, look, these are what we are demanding. We are demanding this as of right. These are only spokespeople for you. It's your right as citizens. You have lost. I've lost because every life of Guyanese is a pain. When it's lost in such tragic, avoidable, reckless circumstances. There's no question that there was recklessness. I'm not even sure the Transport and Harbours Department has produced a set of financial statements for the past 20 years. But we got politicians don't ask those questions. All of that is the recklessness. If they were accountable, this would not happen. So, I'll close. I think we should have, as I said, a framework. There's a way of collecting information. It's not going to be easy. Madia was easy. It's easy to trace parents. When you got children, and some man say, well, I'm a slave, but she got, the story is place. We must not, the one thing I would ask you, please, let us not fight among ourselves. Let us not try to cheat, benefit at the expense of anyone else. There is enough for all of us. So, at a minimum, I would say, we should work out what we think And you know, you can ask, actuaries do that all the time, a certain science of insurance. What is it? I tried getting an insurance person today. I did not. But it's easy. I would say, quite frankly, I would say don't accept less than $20 million. As a start, that's for a life. And then you work out that framework includes a whole set of other things. Is it a parent? Was that the main breadwinner? Is it the mom, single mother? All of these factors are important. You've waited close to over a month. Just let us wait that little bit more. But make demands that are compelling, that are irresistible, and that are framed in such a way that the government can't say, no, we're not giving it. I'm sorry about that. The government, if they say no, it will be shamelessness. And they don't want to say yes. Let us shame them, however, into saying yes. I'm prepared as an accountant, as a lawyer, as a citizen, to assist in whatever way I can. I expect absolutely no money out of this. I will be prepared to represent persons as a group, individually, my own view. I've heard it said that, everybody should get a lawyer. Well, you're going to clog up the whole legal system. It's bad and slow as it is now. You put in 100 legal claims tomorrow, and quite frankly, and I'm no big lawyer, but quite frankly, I think if you were to do it, in any case, the court will say, as a practical matter, we have to consolidate these cases. So let us put our resources, put our heads, our brains, our numbers all together and come up with some very strong legal arguments. If we have to bring in a couple international lawyers who have dealt with tragedies of this magnitude, let us do so. And as I said, the one thing, and I speak as an accountant here, the one thing Guyana is not short of is money at this stage. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ram. I must agree with you that the court system is one that is extremely slow, except when it involves the leader of the opposition. There's a lot of speed there. They find the time, they find the space, they find every single thing when it comes to the leader of the opposition. But unfortunately, when it comes to the rest of us, and this is not because he's special, but because he is doing a little too much against the government, and they're very hurt. As somebody would have said almost jokingly the other day, that the government should give Mohammed his cambio and so on back so that he would have less time to harass them on all of their shortcomings. But to go on with what is happening here today, I would like to, at this point, invite the other lawyer who is present here with us, Mr. De Silva. And so I would appreciate it if you warmly welcome him to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I just wanted to say that you have my deepest condolences. My heart is heavy here before you this evening. I could not pretend to understand your plight and what you're going through. I would also like to thank the Honorable Opposition Leader, Mr. Mohhammed, for having me here this afternoon, as well as the panel. I'm also grateful for my esteemed senior colleague's presentation here this afternoon. And I wish to share that I do share much or most of his sentiments or his views that he would have said to you here. My focus here this afternoon is a simple one. My focus is to protect and ensure your rights that Mr. Ram alluded to in his presentation before you. Mr. Ram also told you that the government owes you a duty. I agree with that. They owe you a duty to keep you reasonably safe. And when they fail to do so, and there's loss as a result, you have a right to be compensated. Again, my priority and concern is to ensure that is done in the most favorable manner to you, in accordance with your rights. Now, prior to this meeting, I would have had a few words with Mr. Mohhammed and what you've been dealing with in relation to negotiations or people coming on the government's behalf to offer settlements. From my understanding, they're not significant. And like Mr. Ram said, I would urge you to be very vigilant and careful with those offers. I do agree with Mr. Ram when he said, if they offer you money, take it. But you better not sign anything. Now, you would have heard myself mention Mr. Ram and other attorneys who are not here this afternoon. Now, I can assure you that on behalf of myself and those who are not present, those other attorneys as well, that we are eager to get this ball rolling, to start this process. We're already late, as Mr. Ram said, so we need to get going. Now, I agree with all of his suggestions on how we do that. Again, we are eager, and I am here this afternoon to be at your disposal. Mr. Mohhammed did not call me here. I called Mr. Mohhammed to come here. And like what was said earlier, we are inviting other attorneys that want to be a part of this process. We are inviting outside assistance as well, as Mr. Ram alluded to. So, I don't want to add much more other than to say that I am looking forward to protecting your rights that this government has breached. So I am willing to entertain any questions with you, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you personally too, aside from this particular forum here, so we can develop a proper relationship. This is not just my work. As Mr. Ram said, this is personal. We are all Guyanese here. Whether you're with one party or the other, whether you're with the government or with WIN, this is about the citizens of Guyana. And that is why I am here. We're not here for money, as Mr. Ram said. This is pro bono. So, again, I am here, and I'm truly looking forward to, I cannot stress it enough. I am humbled to be before you here tonight. I really am. I'm humbled to be a part of this initiative. I must commend the leader of the opposition, Mr. Mohhammed, and all his initiatives and his efforts, everything that he's done. I am in awe of him. This initiative, Hero Initiative, is much needed. I sat here and I listened, and I don't believe this has ever been proposed before. I'll be guided. Now, the drive to donate, I cannot thank you enough as a citizen of this country and what you have done. And I'm willing to be a part of all of this. So again, to wrap up, I am here at your disposal, and we invite any questions at this point.
Thank you very much. Before we open the floor and have open discussions and so forth, I would just like for us to bear a little minute with us as we move to the doctor in the house, our clinical psychologist. If not clinical, oh, okay. Our clinical psychologist, if we would give him a warm welcome, Dr. Telford Lane.
Protocol observe. Good afternoon, fellow Guyanese. We are all Guyanese, aren't we? I'm happy to be here with you. I looked forward for it. I got the call and I decided that it was important to be with you to let you understand a few things. I'm a psychologist and I heard about all the monies that are circling around. But I want to let you know that your mental health is the most important investment that you can make in your life at this point in time. And it starts with the simple fact in you believing that you are deserving. It starts from there. What has happened is a traumatic event that would forever alter the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave towards yourself and others. And to guarantee a better life going forward, you have to first understand what the impact of this has done to you. And I'm here, willing and available to serve you. I'll give you my numbers, 655-0796. And I met with a few of the survivors and a few family. In fact, when this tragedy happened, I was in the UK on vacation. And I started counseling sessions, psychotherapy sessions. I think it was on the 22nd. I did it online. Some families reached out that had some survivors and some victims. And so my entire vacation was hijacked. But I have kids. And I'm a human being like you guys. And I just can't enjoy myself knowing that you are suffering. This is completely complex because some of us may have had unresolved traumatic experience, meaning that you had experiences that were so traumatic before this tragedy. And you are struggling with it. You're never able to resolve it. And then this tragedy came. And there is something that we call post-traumatic stress disorder, where you begin to hear and to see things and to experience things that are not there. You're closing your eyes and there's images reoccurring, there are voices, and that is just a simple indication that you need to stop and take care of your mental health. I'm willing to meet with you as a group, whether it's online, whether in person, so that we can go through the process of grieving, the shock, the denial, the anger, the depression, the bargain, and then the acceptance. All of you, all of us can get through this in a healthy way where we can continue to live quality lifestyle. And while you are grappling with it, I understand and I realize that what is happening from the state standpoint is something that we call re-traumatizing. It is as if every week victims of this tragedy are being re-traumatized. Honesty is not given, acknowledgement is not given, and people believe that they are not worthy. In closing, I want to let you know that you're worthy, you are deserving, and I'm willing to spend time with you so that you can accept, that you can heal, and you can grow. May God richly bless you. 655-0796.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. So we are moving along as we're coming to more or less to the end of today's program. What I would like to do at this point is to open the floor for families, whether it's survivors, whether it is the family of persons who are still missing, who would like to say something. I believe that in keeping our stories alive, it needs to be heard. The names of the victims, the names of the survivors need to be heard. It needs to be said. And if there is any appeal, if there's anything that you would like to say, I would want to ensure that you have that forum and opportunity to speak on behalf of your loved ones. So if there's anybody who would like to, at this point, I would like to open the floor. Please welcome the young lady as she makes her way to the front. And please let us know the name of the family member as well for information purposes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the sister of Neil Court and Kenrick Court. And I am telling you, we need justice for Kenrick and Neil, right? Because I'm watching as this. It's like that boat is done. They are missing. And they're not raising that boat. They need to float the boat up. We need our loved one, even if it's a bone self. We need our loved ones. And it's heart-rending because I am feeling it on a daily basis. Because my small brother Kenrick is close to me more than any one of them. Right? We talk on a regular basis. Sometimes we talk for like 6 hours. Now I don't have that memories because I don't know where my brothers is. And we need justice. We need justice.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Of course, you're free to come, and not in any particular order. So if there is any other family members who would like to say anything, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, as we support.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the sister of Brian Thomas and Kyle Thomas. This is a picture of my brother, Brian Thomas. He is still missing, and our family are still hoping that we find him body. Even if it is bone self, we need his body to come home. Because my mother, every day she sat at herself, she cried. There's no word that we could comfort her or tell her that, that my brother will be coming home 3 days, next week or next month. It left her so devastating that there's no word to comfort her. Day and night she cried. It leaves us so heartbroken to see her sitting and crying by herself. We need justice for not only him, but my other little brother that named Kyle Thomas. We need justice for both of them, and we need my brother's body to discover as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there, yes, there is. If we could give him a warm welcome as well as he makes his way up to the podium. You need some help with this?
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, you can see this picture here is my son, Ralph Frank, as a sailor who've been missing unto this minute that I cannot get my son. Now, since this tragedy happened, I speak to the president of certain things. I speak to the commanding, the brigadier of certain things. Now, I never recognize it come to reality. Now, this boat, where it are, it is not area that it cannot raise. This boat is an area that could raise easy. Now, I don't know what the cause of making this boat not raising. Now, this boat is 1 month and 3 days now under the sea. Our family are grieving day by day, night by night for our loved ones. Now, why these things are happening to all of us is because we are poor people. We are poor people. We is not like dealing with all of fancy different things and a lot of money. You know, if was one of them family was under the sea level, that boat would have raised. There's no if, there's no but. We have to face reality. Guyanese people, too long we are struggling in struggle. Too long we are victimization in different areas. If we stay calm, that's the happiest time for all of them. It is time. Promises of comfort of fool. We are not fool. We are humans. All of these lives that lost in this boat, you know what it's going to do to our country? From the little babe to the oldest soul that gone. It hurt me. Not because alone my son are missing, but I feel it for other families too, because we are the soul of this land. Today, you know, many times I sit down, many times I watch at my son photograph, many times I watch at his vehicle. Sometimes I speak into myself. I go in car up this morning, I was crying because you know why? One are be missing. Without no sick. Without no suffering. Just disappear. Every day you're hearing boat racing, this phase, fourth phase, this second phase, that they gotta go to this subs. Look, let me tell you something. What they are telling us is like till next year. And this next year we hope. We want the boat raised. The opposition leader claims saying he could raise it. He are a Guyanese. And if he could raise it, let he raise it. We are Guyanese. He feel it for every family. Why he cannot raise it? Why he have to get 5-year experience and all of these kind of things for raise a boat? This nonsense, buddy. It's totally nonsense. Then you're going to come and telling people about handout and telling people about them struggling and stuff. Anybody could value me child life? If my child was alive, he would walk on transport till he meet retire age. Nobody coming to me with one little poco money and they tell me and accept or not me. Friends, I'm telling y'all, let us stand up for our rights. Unite we stand. Let us unite. I want to say I'm happy this afternoon for this wonderful forum. Mr. Mohammed called me. He said, Mr. Frank, you have a forum today. If I could come with my family, I told him, yes, I'm welcome. I'm happy to be here. Happy to see all of this wonderful family who's standing for justice today. Even though for family who are not here, I want to say that if you could reach out to them, speak to them, and let them know, let we are stand for justice. Let me stand for this boat race. We need a boat race. We need the boat for race. It is the born self we want for we family. For sure, well, we have something for sure that, yes, well, we family die. Than for have nothing at all. And just promising. Come on, man. It's time for we stop with this promising. This is our second dangerous strategy. I mean, Jim Jones was not a lot of Guyanese. Was a lot of Americans. But this is Guyanese people tragedy. The largest. Many people are still under the surface there. Many that we could ever think about is under the surface there. God bless everybody today.
Is there, at this point, any other family member? Oh, he's a survivor. Well, tough one.
Good afternoon. I am happy to be here so that I could give you some experience of what transpired on the growing up. Okay? And from reception all the morning I was there, and right through the day was just, I normally travel in the boat actually every fortnight, and I find that I hear people talk about the boat got a hole and they always patching it, and it's supposed to go on dock. A dock at some time, okay? So that when I come back, I see they only change the captain and some of the crew member, and the same set of people. And they always changing the captain every fortnight, it's different people. You understand? So when I went, this time I hear my friend Rastaman tell me he ain't on the boat because the boat got a hole tapping in water, and they were supposed to carry the boat on the dock, and then carry it on the dock, and he ain't going. But I already had my things on the boat, so I was scared. But I wanted to go because I got my things on the boat, I already got my tickets and everything. So I decided to go on the boat. The boat was alongside the wharf. It take an hour and something to get it up. I'm saying everybody who went on the boat could see that. It take about an hour and something to get it up. And I personally feel that was the thing that the guy the boat going long and the thing opened the hole, because at about 3 times we reached the Kaituma, and the man said this thing ain't water there in the hatch. I always get up goods and all this kind of thing because we fund people goods. People didn't know that this boat got a hole. Jill and all them know this. This is not things that I hide. You understand? These people know. You understand? Because Rastaman, he's just as escort and them on the boat. He's going in June. You actually let him he's a walker on the boat, but he's not a walker. The man is gearless and he's there wrong. He tell me the thing I'm on the boat because of the same thing. But me things are already on the boat. And he didn't went on the boat. And when I come, he started with me and say, see what I tell you? You understand? And the boat go down about minutes to 10. Because we was overboard. I personally feel like I'm not float. You understand? Because when the boat, I was at the back with Court and Ronaldo, Chicken, which is my personal partner. We just moved together when we reached Kaituma. Me just cut half and charter a vehicle right to then go up to Baramito without business, right? So I was at the back there with them. Sit down there and smoke them a little marijuana, gap and them. And I say stand up at the back. I then the car now stand up and I find water. No. Court was sitting there. I was standing there, Ronaldo was there, Chicken was there. And I get up and go in the kitchen story part. And I went to the seat sitting down. And Court came to me and said, oh, close this car, me Donald Moore, this is my name. Oh, close. He asked him for the seat, right? And I get up and I give him the seat and I went to the side, stand smoking. Water lash me boots and I had on Timberlands and the water lash me boots. I said, hi. So I said, we're going on by water to lash in this place something. So caught in them say water's now I'm up on the deck and thing. I said, but that's what I have in I. So anyway, I ain't big nothing, that thing in the game. Pop the water in my boots. And these things keep coming back to me all the time because since this incident that I can't forget, I try to forget it, but it's still coming all the time, right? So I said, buy me a bit of water, wetting up my boots, I got upstairs. And I left and I got up to sleep with the tent and I got upstairs. So I go in here, I'm up and I look at this one at 9%, I go in my back, take out the charge, I try and go put it in the thing. All the everybody, oh God, what's this? And I look around and see the boat doing like this. So I jump out me, I'm up and I went like this, got into the boat, see if it can can back. But the boat never can back, the boat just keep going all the time. So all who jump out to the side, them Spanish people who jump out, all of me see them back. You understand? And I left watching like this, and the boat go right over. The boat give you a 360. You understand? Now people understand why my friend Tarman was sleeping in the hammock. If he the only wake up, he wanna be alive. He alive. The boat do like this. And give you a 360 and then go down. And when we reach the top, I'll be able to shut me down with 30 feet off the boat. And me big brother always tell me if you go, anytime you find yourself difficult in water, you never lock your mouth tight and blow hard. Blow back your lungs and start all over again. That is what I did. If I didn't do that, I would have drowned. Because I reached the top and then you shut down. We didn't let it, catch back my breath. So like that, the government never give you no, assistance because they got a guy who was security on the boat, me and his friend, and we floated, and we get up and right east by. We close by them people never get no message because how fast this boat go down, nobody get to say nothing. We think these people know we there. And we there saying, bye, we got Wulani, because we can't do nothing more. Back up plane pass about 1 o'clock. They just pass straight and go down the way. 1:30 another plane pass. But you saying people could verify this, eh? They didn't show them a flare or nothing to say anything. They just pass and go down. About 3.5 hours after then we get rescued. Because we was gaffing all the time saying, bye, you feel nice now, this plane come to go land, this plane coming yet? This plane coming yet? You understand? So we can't ride through. I see must about 15 people. These people only come half an hour more, you could save about 10 people. Because I see people, when I'm daddy can't make it no money then. Now people do stuff. But I had a vein lamp on this one side, a vein lamp on here, a gas bottle on this side, and a cooking oil bottle on this side. When it coming on to the later on, when we say about 3:30, he showed to start paying me bad, like I can't, thing, but I opened the cooking oil bottle, tear out the cork and throw some of the cooking oil. I think it's very fine, not the fine. I think it's a bad idea. Everybody start quarreling with me because the venom start sliding, people start sliding and quarreling with me and thing. But I do a bad and still do good because I think it's the same oil was floating and it's the trace and find us. The man about 5:30 actually, they come pick us. And when they put you in this boat and carry the Coast Guard is not no distance away. I said, about half an hour to 3/4 of the most, where the Coast Guard is. So I want to know why it takes so long to come. They didn't try to rescue nobody, come to see if people dead, everybody dead. Yeah, because that's what you see, because the plane passed, 1 past 1 o'clock, 1 past 1:30. They forced me to do this. Now they bring me out, and they carry me to the Coast Guard and they carry me to Charity Hospital. They give me sandwich and coffee. When we go to the institute, they give you sandwich and coffee and ask if you have it. They said, no, I want to get this in a plate because it's something I can't forget to like that, everybody's skin in the teeth. I said, I got to get something, and they quarreled and said, no, make my man hook me. I said, make my come, these people can give 100,000 and this and bam, 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 bam. Came you one side. Well, when the media go in, they chase you out. So I asked, why you all chase? So the media, they talk what they got to talk. But when they finish with me, I walk and go to the media. And I said, I would like to say something. And I said, I start talking about the boat overload and this kind of thing and so on. So when they go back, they give me an attitude problem. I told them, they said that they're giving a passage to go to Kaitumo and Mabumo. Right? We want to go to Tong, they're going to fly to Tong. So I told him, I said, all meetings gone now. And I will send him back to Mabung, go send me to Kaitumpo. I got bar meeting, and after I got into bar meeting, said no. So I said, I got something they're supposed to buy. I said, at least me bike. I got to get 2 of the main parts of me bike, and I'm not going back on that. Then, so man, they're going to give me the money to buy back the parts and everything, and I'm going to stop. They give you $50,000 and a pair of slipper and a cheap jersey and a cheap trunks. And they put you in the bus. When we in the bus, then they give you this thing because we're walking barefoot. Barefoot we had to walk because we didn't get nothing more. Yes, and after then, they put me in the bus. They said the bus going to stop because I get to buy new parts of the Attorney Regina. And the police in front and the bus man, am I stopping you to go and buy the thing? He just drive past and he walk with the instruction, tell me this. So when they reach there, I just jump out the bus and I call a taxi and I get 3,000 to drop me in Queenstown. And I go to Queenstown where my relatives is and I relax. And after then I get a steady call and where are you, they want to see me this side. When I die in a sick, I tell them they're in town. When I die in town, I tell them they're sick. And yes, and this is it. This thing just keep coming on all the time. I can't remember. I can't help it.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Wow, tough crowd. At this point, I would like to open the floor for one other family member, if there is any such. And if we could. One other family member, and then we are going to hear the vote of thanks from the leader, and we are going to have a moment of silence, and then we are going to end the live so that we can have a private discussion with the professionals who are present here this evening. So thank you, ma'am.
I must say good night to each and every one of you. My name is Samantha Lois, from all the way from Port Kaitumo, Region 1. I came here Tuesday. I am a mother who lost my son, Cristiano Rodriguez, and my grandson, Ronaldo Poon. Also my son's girlfriend, Nelly Roseberry. And I am here, I have so many things to say. When I get a phone call that the Envy Barrymore sing, it was real shocking to me. And, I scream, I holler, because I know my son, he could swim, but he cannot swim far. And so it goes on like the next day. And the other day, then the president come and carry to charity. So I was there, When I go there, I never experienced something like this, When I go there, they say how you get 4 persons that is in the march, 2 male and 2 female. So I was looking like for a male and a female and a child. So when I go there, then pull out the thing at the march, I was so anxious, and I was, at the same time, I was hoping and praying that my son survived. So when I go and then pull the march thing for see, I didn't expect to see what I see. So I run, I run, my brothers and sisters. I run, I could not take it. So I go outside, I was feeling so weak. I pray, and I said, Father, if this is the condition I have to see my son, I pray, I said, God, give me strength. And, after then I feel back less strength, and
Nelly says to say, Auntie, we ain't get to identify them, let we go back. So we was back in there, and we identified them. Thank God for strength. And I want to say thank God for Mr. Mohhammed. While I was there grieving, praying, hurting, crying, I was seeing, on the phone, he was in the sea, which I even could not go, brothers and sisters. And I want to say thanks to Mr. Mohhammed, that he find my son and he bring my son body, and he find the 3 of the bodies and bring them so I can get my bodies, but I was grieving for no. At the same time, the president gave us a plywood box to bury my son. I was so hurt. And when we reached in Port Kaituma, I want to tell you guys, there is so many things we face in Port Kaituma. And there is people who don't want to say anything because we all get in Port Kaituma. And for all the years I live in Port Kaituma, I go to meetings and I never say anything because I don't want to be victimized, because as a businesswoman, I sell in the market, I have my little stall. I know I don't want to make problem with nobody. I don't want nobody vexed with me and so on. So, after all the years I lived there, I never say anything. But after this strategy, I said, this is enough. Need to jump out and stand up now for my rights. Brothers and sisters, I encourage you, let me stand up for our rights. This is too much from the government of this country. When I see my son buried in a plywood box, all the pain that I've gone through, because it's my only son, to stand up by my side. He helped me, he worked along with me, and when his father died, he was 8 years old, and I am not give up. I trust God for strength and work on my son. Now he is 60 years old. February, May, the 23rd of May, he was 16 years old. And, he stand up with me, he come out and he sell, he helped me clean up. Me and he was the only breadwinner in the home. And I was sick, Up to now I sick because I have to do a surgery. And 2 months me came down to town. Me is normally come and buy me goods and put it on the boat. For all the years, for my children. And I sick, I cannot make it because I feel in a terrible pain. I have to do a surgery. And he said, Mommy, I'm going to buy load for you and bring it that we can get something to sell. And I said, all right, son. So he leave the Friday morning and we go to the airport, and that was the last day I ever see my son. My son hugged me before he leave. Only for no Saturday night I will get the phone call that the boat sink. And it's very painful to me for know that my son left me strong. He was not sick or anything. And I think that Mr. Nigel, they hold accountable for that, because they know that the boat is an old boat. We struggle on the boat for years, not now. I am 46 years of age, and since I know myself, traveling on the boat, we always punish. We always suffer on the boat. When we go on the wharf, there is so many things we have to go through. And when we tag them in heroes, so, I feel sometimes I feel to myself, somebody kill my son. And I need justice for my son. Because my son would have helped me. My son knows that you know how much money I spent to mind my son, to make my son reach 16 years old. Send my son to school. When they import Kaituma, sometimes I don't even want to give us the cash grant for my son. 2 times I get cash grant. The first time, they say, when I go for collect the cash grant, they say how he named the till in Arakaka. I say how he name could be till in Arakaka, and he attend Port Kaituma school. Anyway, they send me away and then they call me back. When they call me back, then I get $30,000. Then, for the next time, the cash grant came, I think it's $50,000. When I go, they say, how his name is not there. I must check Canal Bank. I had to take a boat and I go till down the river, forget the cash grant. Even to the cash grant, they don't even want to give us. So my son used to tell me, say, Mommy, I'm going to help you. I get him big. No, my son now get to me, he's 60 years to help me. And this is what happened. So I want to tell you guys, let us be strong and let us stand up for our right. It's time for we stand up. Be too much quiet in this country. And I tell myself, I will stand up. I will stand up from now on. I don't feel it is too late because I still have more children. And I will stand up for my children, for my rights in this country. I need justice. I need some sort of compensation or something because since everything has gone down in the river, in the sea bottom, I don't have anything to sell. They carry to my brother, they say they're going to give me some things to sell, at least something to start back the business. They said the AREO, who name of Jason, he gonna come to me and I'm gonna submit the list and I'm gonna get something to start back my business. I have no other income, only the business alone. So over a month and change now, nobody hasn't come to me. So my son, he is normally go at the river and catch work. Sometimes he get a 5,000 or 3,000. You know, he said, Mommy, I'm going to see if I get plantain. I'm going to see if I get cassava. He going to get 3 bunch plantain. He get 25 coconut and a little bit sweet cassava, and I sell it. And I say, no, I go out there sometime and spend 2 hours, 3 hours, and I sell it and I raise little money, and I came out here Tuesday. I came here and I went into Woodlands and asked them, I said, yeah, promise me to give me something because I have nothing to sell or to depend. I am a single parent. They said they're going to call the chairman up to now. They said they're going to call me up to now. Nobody ain't called me. Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you, I feel this is real advantage that they're taking over we Amerindian. And it's time for we stand up now for our rights. It's time. So, I am here tonight. I thank you for your cooperation, even for Mr. Mohammed and even for the lawyers. I thank you, each and every one of you, for your cooperation. I need justice for my son. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We would have heard from a couple of the family members very heartbreaking recounts of the life that they had before the tragedy, the composition of the families before the tragedy. And it is extremely heartbreaking to even listen to those recounts. I would like for us to observe a moment of silence and for us to raise our candles. As we do so, we are going to have something played during this time as we observe those silence and as we reflect on our family and the journey that is ahead, the fight that is ahead, the people who have come on board, whether it's lawyers or psychologists, whether it is persons who are assisting in the back. I would like for us to take an opportunity to give thanks for life, for hope, and of course we are going to hear a piece that was done by a young man as we observe this moment of reflection.
My native brothers and sisters of Guyana, land of birth, we stand together as one people on this earth, as we face a time of loss and deep despair. Our ancestors shake their heads in acknowledgement of our care. Barima, oh Barima, faithful vessel of the sea, for many years you carried us safely home as you were meant to be. Though aging waves grew tired within thee, that faithful night you lost the fight at sea. Oh Barima, our faithful friend, why that night did the journey end? Absent from our warm embrace, your struggles are done. Now with God in a better place, you're gone. Oh Barima, our faithful friend, why that night did the journey end? Absent from our warm embrace, your struggles are done. Now with God in a better place, you're Baruma, Port Kaituma, Matthews Ridge, the Northwest weeps as one. Brothers, sisters, friends lost to the deep. The coin was tossed, the seabed has become a resting place where angels watch and keep. We mourn our loss, but we will not forget. Your name written in our hearts forever. God be with you, family and friends, till we meet again, where sorrow ends. Oh Barima, our faithful friend, why that night did the journey end? Absent from our warm embrace, your struggles are done. Now sent from our warm embrace, but with God in a better place.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. I would like to say that that song was done by a Guyanese, Kenton Wyatt, from Essequibo, who now resides in Canada. So we want to thank him for that. At this point, there's just a lot of it's a tough emotional space to be in, as we reiterate the fact that the families are going through a great deal. And we, of course, would like to stand with you through this very trying times. I would like to call on the leader yet again to deliver the vote of thanks. And we are going to, of course, upon that happening, move to ending the live. I would also like to say that we have a space at the back for the children. So when the live ends, the children are able to go to the back and play and have snacks, and they have toys and Lulu and Giraffe. I might very well be at the back there too for a bit. So I know it's been an extended period, and we have to be conscious of everything and prepared for everything. So just so the children are able to get some, free space and play and have a grand old time. So ladies and gentlemen, if we could help me welcome yet again the leader of the opposition to deliver the vote of thanks.
So once again, my deepest sympathies and condolences to the bereaved family members, the MV bereavement tragedy. I would also like to thank the distinguished gentlemen, the legal team, Mr. Lane, my fellow MPs, and you the heroes that came out here to ensure you get justice. The families, you all know this is not our first engagement or our second engagement. I stood with you, I sat with you. We shared special moments together. It was very emotional. So I'm calling on the government of Guyana, like what Mr. Ram recommended. They must ensure that all these family members, all our brothers and sisters, they must get an interim payment of $5 million at least to ease them of their financial burden. Yeah. It's really sad and heartbreaking how this wicked government treats our people. Really sad. And I want you to know, you have my full support. We're going to fight this together. And at the end, we have to ensure that you are handsomely compensated. It will be a long journey, but at the end of the tunnel, there will be light. There will be light. So rest assured, you have my full support, and all the MPs our full support. And I am calling on the government and the president. You always boast and brag about one Guyana, putting people first. Is this putting people first? Look how many families, they don't know where the next meal will come from. Look how many families lost their livelihood, their sole breadwinners. Look how many families. Look, Miss Samantha was just here. You know, every time I talk to Samantha, I would always break down because her story, Mr. Kenton Arthur, the Court families, the Bovels, so many families. And yet this administration, all they're doing is going on outreaches to distract the people. I know the tricks of this government. I know the tricks. So that is why we want an interim payment of $5 million each from now to all the survivors and the families of the disease and the families of the missing immediately. You can call the governor of Bank of Guyana, Mr. Gango, and let him open the safe now. You can do that. We are earning every day $6.3 billion in just oil revenues. 160 persons by $5 million, that is just 800 million Guyana dollars. When you're awarding all your contracts and getting all your heavy kickbacks, on one single contract alone, these businessmen would make that in a profit. One single contract. At the end of the day, I want you to know, President Ali and this administration, power don't last forever. And your legacy, I'm waiting patiently to see how you treat the families of this MV Barima tragedy. And this is how you will go down. This is how we will judge your presidency. And I'm surprised at how this administration will treat our people. How you can look at the families, very poor people, and tell them, wait and what? You can do this now. So let's start with this immediately. Ease them of some financial burden and emotional distress at least. Ease them. We have so many things happening in our country, and yet the people, they're not aware. So I want you to be aware of the revenues coming in our country. That is why I invited you. That is why I'm in contact with you, because I want you to be handsomely compensated. I don't want this administration to give you, poco, a little next to nothing. No, this must not happen. We have the money, we have the resources, and you must benefit from our resources. You, the people, must benefit. So once again, no amount of victimization, no amount of oppression can move me. They did me so many things, and I'm prepared for them. Right? I'm prepared to stand with you till to the end. So rest assured, and may God bless you all and keep you safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now ask the gentleman at the back conducting the live. We are going to end that session, and we're going to have the floor open for persons who would like to ask questions for those present here on the panel. And of course, those of you who have your children here with you.